Hi everyone, it's Suzanne. Welcome back. In today's video, I am going to share with you our Family Reads January wrap-up and our February TBR. So the books we plan on reading in February. A couple of them my daughter listened to on her own, and unfortunately I ran out of time to join her or to read them myself. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, she listened to that again because she really liked Tom Sawyer. And we did, of course, read Blizzard of the Blue Moon by the Magic Treehouse book. And that was as much fun as it was the first couple times we read it. The next one's Vivian listened to on her own. And this was The Three Tales of My Father's Dragon. Oh. And that was by Ruth Stiles and Gannett. And it was read by Robert Sevra. And the other one that she listened to on her own, I was disappointed because I so wanted to hear it myself, was Arusha and the End of the Time. Okay, it's still on my personal TBR. The beginning of this that I heard was enjoying it. Anyway, she listened to it and loved it. Okay, the next one was that we did both listen to, and I'm so happy. It was The Vanderbeekers and The Hidden Garden. And the premise of this was the Vanderbeekers, who live on 144th Street. That was the name of the first book in this series, The Vanderbeekers on 141st Street. And this is about 5 kids who live in a brownstone in Harlem, New York. And in this one, one of their neighbors who they dearly love, had a heart attack, and they decide they always wanted a garden outside, that they were going to fix up a lot that's full of trash and locked up beside the local church, and they were going to fix that up as a garden as a big surprise. So it is the kids' journey and fixing that garden up and ultimately saving it for the neighborhood. And it was delightful, as they always are. We're looking forward to reading the next one. We're continuing on in this series. Those were the books for January wrap-up. Now I'm going to share with you the books we are planning to read and hoping to read in February. Now we have our monthly to-be-read basket. I always try to keep them in a basket, and so we know what we still have left to read. This month they didn't all fit in the basket. So this is either going to be a very good reading month, or we won't finish it all. As I mentioned, we are continuing on with the Vanderbeekers series, and the next one is called The Vanderbeekers to the Rescue. If you're new to this series, this is a middle grade series. As I said, they are a biracial family that live in Harlem, New York. And this particular story is about their mom is a baker. She sells lots of cookies and things from their apartment, and she gets a call from an InStyle magazine to do a piece on her. Before that happens, she's away for the day, and the kids accidentally let in a health official. The animals are running wild, and she has her license revoked. So this is about the kids trying to fix that. They've rescheduled an appointment for the health authority to come. In the meantime, somebody's left a litter of kitten on their doorstep, and they're trying to rescue the kittens. They end up with more animals. Anyway, it just sounds like a good time. We'll see how they rescue these animals as well as their mom's business. Oh, I didn't say. I always do that. Oh my goodness, I always do that. By the way, the Vanderbeekers author's name is Corinna Jan Glasser. Seriously? A fly. Okay. The author's name is Corinna Jan Glasser. Next we have The Castle of Tangled Magic, and this is by Sophie Anderson. And I am reading this with Vivian this month because it is a touch of whimsy's book club selection for February. I will leave the link down below to A Touch of Whimsy's book club, or at least to their Twitter. Sophie Anderson is the author that also wrote The Girl Who Speaks Bear and The House with Chicken Legs, which I still haven't read and have been dying to read because I heard so much about those books, and they're all middle grade as well. In this book, we are introduced to Alia, who steps through a door in the castle where she's living with her family. And it turns out in this land, there's a wicked, basically wizard, who has tied up all the magic and is making the land a terrible place. And it's up to her to not only save the land, but keep her family and friends out of danger. And it's very magical. And I read the first 3 chapters with my daughter because sometimes the middle grade, where she is 7, sometimes they catch her attention for sure. And they are appropriate even for a 7-year-old, as long as I'm reading it. She couldn't obviously read this novel by herself. And then there's other ones where the subject matter is a little over her head. She's just not ready for it yet. So now I'm trying to read a couple chapters to gauge her interest. And she wanted me to read more and more. I was only going to read 1 chapter today, and she had me read 3. So she's definitely into this book. So am I. I can't wait to continue. It seemed very magical and beautiful and just a fun read. I do love middle grade books, and I know there are a lot of booktubers on here who read middle grade, and they are readers of all ages, booktubers of all ages, and they don't have kids. It's just for pure enjoyment, and I now understand that because I have read a couple on my own without my daughter. When I can include her, that's the best. But if there's some that she's not interested in, or like I said, or she's a little too young for, and I am interested, I'll still go ahead. Like I said, if you look at my favorite fantasy series for 2020, one of them was a middle grade series, and that was Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. So I'm all in for the middle grade. We also have quite a high number of chapter books this month in our to be read pile. Now, I'm not going to list them all here because I've already spoken about some of those in the Valentine's Day books video that I did. So I'm not going to repeat myself, but I did find one out of a little series that she loves. And this is Owl Diaries Warm Hearts Day. Now, I don't have to read this with her. She can read this, but I just wanted to put it in there because she absolutely loves this series. Like I said, she's 7, and this is one of her favorite series. One of 2 things she asked me for Christmas was a couple of books that she was missing from her series of Owl Diaries. I thought I would mention it in case you have any kids in that age range that might be interested in these. And we are continuing on with our Roald Dahl books. And this month we're doing James and the Giant Peach. Now, we have watched this movie. I think Vivian's watched it more than once. She knows the story, but she still wants to read the book. And who doesn't want to join a little boy living with insects inside a giant peach and exploring the world? When I initially picked out our TBR for February, I had included the White Fang book by Jack London. The book that I'm showing you here, this is Treasury of Illustrated Classics. And we have a bunch of these, and if you read online, they sort of have mixed reviews. I'm not actually reading them out of these books. I'm just using this as a placeholder and grabbing books out of that series. But this will be an audiobook. I already have it picked out. We started to listen to it already. This book is about White Fang, who is part dog and part wolf, and he's been mistreated by other animals as well as men, so he doesn't trust anybody. And it's about his journey learning to trust when he comes in contact with a very sweet and gentle man. And White Fang is changed from meeting this gentle, kind man. Interestingly enough, we did Sarah Mackenzie's reading challenge in January. I'll put a link for that down below. This was a 25-day reading challenge, and the kids had to read for 10 minutes each time to get a stamp, and there were little rewards throughout. But after 25 days, there was a big reward. And the reward Vivian chose was to have a family camp out in our living room where we watched movies and had some junk food and spent the night sleeping on this fold-out couch that we have. And the reason I'm saying interestingly enough is because one of the movies that we ended up watching was A Call Into the Wild by Jack London. And we all really enjoyed that movie. It was coincidence that that was one of the movies that we picked out. And this happened to be on our TBR this month, so it leads me to believe that we might enjoy this. Obviously, Jack London is a very famous author, but I haven't read any of his material, so I'm looking forward to this as well. As I said, this is a very big TBR, so I'm not sure we're going to get through it all, but we'll do our best. And what we don't finish, we'll carry over into March. No problem. The last 3 books you may have already seen if you happen to watch my books for Black History Month. These are all middle grade novels. The one is called One Crazy Summer by Rita Williams Garcia. And look at all the rewards this book has. Newbery Honor Award, Scott Dell Award, the Coretta Scott King Award, and National Book Award finalist. And this is about 3 girls that go to visit their mom. They go on an airplane and they visit their mom who abandoned them, and she lives in Oakland, California. Then we have Elijah of Buxton, and this is by Christopher Paul Curtis, and it's an award-winning book as well. This one won the Newbery Honor Book Award and the Coretta Scott King Award. And this is about a boy, Elijah, who was the first free child born in the Buxton settlement, which is in Canada. It's where many of the slaves settled after coming to Canada through the Underground Railroad. And the premise of this book is Elijah's friend is saving money to buy his family from a slave owner down south, and one of the newly freed slaves steals his money. So Elijah goes to get the money back, and he goes into the US. So it's obviously very dangerous for him to be there. The final book that we're reading for Black History Month is The Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson. And this entire book is told in verse, which I love. And I already know, as I mentioned in the video for the Black History Month, that this is a book we will be reading on audio book. We have already got it downloaded and everything and have listened to some of it. I absolutely love this book already. So this is about Jacqueline's story growing up in the 60s and 70s. And as she says, it's not only her story, but it's a story of many people during that time period. And I can see why it's won awards already. This is one of the ones I'm most excited about this month. Okay, like I said, huge TBR. I know it. But I'm looking forward to every one of these books. I'm loving that my daughter still likes reading with me. Okay, I would love to know what books you plan on reading with your family in February. Any new titles you're really excited about, please leave them down below. I'd love to share your excitement, or if there's any books that you're excited about in upcoming months, or reading for Black History Month or Valentine's Day, please let me know, and I will see you soon with another bookish video.